There are people who wanted to see the episode. Oh, it's fine. I mean, I like seeing it multiple times myself. So this is the RWBY art panel. RWBY's such an art-driven show, we definitely felt like we needed an art panel, especially with as much effort as we put into the art of this show. Sitting next to me is the first artist that was on this project. Her name is Eileen. If you know... Carrie, are you online?
Oh, I'm online.
Okay. Go to her DeviantArt. If you know...
I really hope I closed all my tabs before I do this.
Porn, lots of porn.
Go to ainlee.deviantart.com. This is something I do, by the way, so if you're an artist, be wary, or be happy. I look at art all the time, and if your stuff gets noticed, I'll notice it, because I noticed Ainlee about 7 years ago, and I said, I love her stuff. Hit gallery, there you go. And I would just look at her stuff and say, someday I'm gonna work with this girl. I couldn't work for this girl, I wouldn't mind. Because it just so much of her stuff had texture and emotion to it. It's like, this is perfect. And so I actually did some early tests several years ago, but when RWBY started getting going, I was like, should I contact her? Oh, click on the Raven one. Look at that one. Candy Apple Vampire. It's the bottom left. That's one of my favorites. It's beautiful stuff. You should buy her art books. What is it, fishbone.net? Yes. Or if you just search...
Ainlee.net. Ainlee.net. Yeah.
She has some phenomenal art books. You should definitely buy them. You're a novelist, right?
Not a novelist. Storybook illustrator.
That's right. You also illustrate children's novels in France.
Sorry.
We are self-aware. But yeah, like that one picture at the bottom, that Raven character design, I liked a lot. And even actually, like about 5 years ago, I just made a go at building that middle one just for kicks. But when RWBY started picking up, I was like, I need more artists, and so I contacted her. How did that go for you?
Pretty good. I mean, it was exciting. Well, oh yeah, for the record, I wasn't on DeviantArt 7 years ago, so...
Okay, 5.
5. Just about, yeah.
Check this. Hit her name.
Check your facts, Monty. God damn it.
5 years.
5 years, okay. 5 years, fine.
I mean, to be honest, I didn't really know what to expect, because...
Felt like 7 years.
Really? You're so impatient. But, like, it was very exciting, because I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't think that RWBY was going to be this big, and then I learned, like, gradually. Monty would tell me more about the project.
Wait, was that a profile pic?
Well,
Uncanny.
Not of me, okay. All right, yeah. So.
And so.
How did it go? Like, what do you mean, how did it go?
Like, when I contacted you.
Oh, well, you sent me an email.
Did you know who I was?
No, I did not.
Okay. See? I'm not cool enough for her. But her art was way too cool for me. So, I guess you kind of investigated. I imagine you looked into... I probably linked you at some of the stuff, right?
Yes. And I became a huge fan, so...
And I do this with a lot of people, except Patrick. But I was also... This is Patrick, by the way. He does a lot of Achievement Hunter art as well.
Hello. Ham boning. That was for Miles.
You've heard Patrick's voice in the episode, right?
Yes, you have.
And?
Oh, the freaking newscaster guy?
Right.
Yeah, that's right. That was me. How you doing, guys?
But Patrick has been doing a lot of work for Achievement Hunter as well. You did the...
I did the Versus poster, or the Versus characters, the Christmas card, there was another one, wasn't there?
Yellow shirt.
Fucking God, dude. Yes, I did a yellow shirt. Huh?
You did X-Ray and Vav.
X-Ray and Vav, there we go. That was the other one. Yeah, and Surgeon Simulator. Thank you very much.
So, like, I'd been aware of Patrick's stuff, and we'd talked about bringing him on board, but, we needed a better reason than, just, third commission merchandise. And then when a position was necessary for a full-time concept artist, right?
Yeah.
That then we were like, okay, let's get Patrick on board, and he's been doing okay.
Yeah, you know, I jerk off onto the canvas and call it artwork.
Hey. We're making a kid show
Children,
here.
children.
Oh,
sorry,
got
sorry,
Nad.
censor.
Got Nad, everybody.
You need a DeviantArt account, Carrie.
I continued.
Okay, anyways.
What are you doing?
But yeah, Patrick does a lot of our. Oh, he does some of our characters. You do a lot of our prop design, our world stuff,
Yeah, props.
our ships, right?
Yeah, ships too.
Weapons and such.
Yeah, a little bit of everything, pretty much.
Let's see, and yeah, you handle a lot within a day.
It's fun.
Cool. Now, Carrie, go to was it hakuku.deviantart.com? HAKUKU.deviantart.com.
Say it out.
Hakuku. Haku, Christina, my friend here, at the end, we've known each other for a while. Has it been like 5 years now? Oh, go to the. Hey, look, Attack on Titan.
Yes.
So,
On the side.
go
folder.
scroll down,
On the top.
scroll down. Oh,
On the top.
on the top. There we go.
There's a side.
This is the. I mean, I'd followed her work for a long time. We'd met through cosplay actually, and then I followed the thread to her work, and I'd seen how cool and simple it was. Like, click on that one, where she does so much with so little, and it's this imaginary world that has such emotion in its design. And I mean, we'd been friends for a long time, and like I said, I watch people, and if I'm talking to you about stuff, that means that might lead to something someday. I'm just looking for the place for it. And so, you know, when the time came when you needed a concept artist, I mean, we pulled the trigger on this fast. I just mentioned it offhand to Kathleen. I'm like, you know, I know a concept artist. Maybe we could hire her. And then suddenly there was an email thread going. So like Kathleen really pulled the trigger on that. And it's like, so like, it was really great.
That's
Um,
old.
If we just, you know, navigate around the BL, it would be cool. Right, Carrie? Wait, or navigate to it. Where is it? Boy Love? What?
Oh, no. No.
But, I mean, what was it like for you, Christina?
What was?
I mean, you know, we've known each other for a while, but to
Yeah.
finally be working on something like together.
Yeah.
This is
Oh,
Sherlock,
don't-
right?
Please don't go through my fan art.
Okay.
No, it's okay. we were we knew each other through AX first.
Yeah,
like
we
through-
met at Anime Expo through
yeah,
friends.
through Aku,
Yeah.
and then your first trailer came out, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then a few minutes later, you're like, hey, we need an artist. I'm like, oh, for your new project? You're like, yeah. I'm like, hey, cool.
So I get shit done. Anyways, I love artists and I love art. So, you know, if you have any aspirations of an artist, you can guarantee someone else is out there looking for you. And, you know, again, find who you are, because everyone here has like this unique tone that they've established. And, you know, like when I was making things, someone out there was looking out for me. So artists look out for each other. That's important. So anyways, I guess we should get to the episode, right, Carrie? That's what some of you are here for the third time.
It's gonna be so fun.
So that was cool. You guys like it? You can see a mixture of a lot of things in there, including like that last shot where the ships are pulling up. Christina just painted that by hand. I suppose one of the advantages of doing a show like this is we can integrate so much different types of media. Like we very quickly identify if a shot is not moving, that maybe we could just use a painted background, or the newscast. Patrick drew the protesters and the newscaster, and then we animated a 3D mouth onto her face. It works on a lot of levels, and there's even more of it further down the line, which in the integration, you know, that's the strength of anime, is that it has such a wide range. So like, let's go into episode, like a little bit more.
Just a little bit more.
Just a little bit more. This is still very much in progress. And so we've got a bit more of the next episode to show you, if you'd like to see it. Again, there may be some temp effect. Would Miles Luna please stand up? Hey. How do you...
Miles.
Could you give us a little Sean?
I can't. My voice is gone.
Okay.
Oh, come on, you can do it.
Well, as you can see, there's a little bit more and such. But yeah, this is a lot of fun to work on. We've got a lot of people here. In fact, some of our people didn't make it to the tech panel yesterday. I'd like to recognize Brett and Taylor. Stand up. They work very hard to translate a lot of this art into its three-dimensional form. Christina and Taylor have a lot of conversations without me about getting it right. Fortunately, she's so good at it that we just decided to let her do it without me anyways. She's now art director on the show, which is pretty cool. Essentially, one of the things we were really big on is if you take charge with something, you instead end up being in charge of something. So that's pretty cool. Hey, Carrie, you want to go to the RWBY folder? I'm going to run through. I kind of tossed this together a bit, but I'm going to run through some behind-the-scenes artwork, I suppose. Most of this is actually character stuff from very early on, when Eileen and I were having these discussions. I mean, they're not even sorted, so I guess we just start from the top. Go ahead. So Adam, out of all of them, might have been, make that bigger. Adam is a character that comes across as just, I needed a character for the Blake trailer. I had a cool design that I've had in my mind for a long time. This is something I just made by myself, so it's a little outside of what the scope of what our normal design phase is. But just keep scrolling through. Let's see what else we got. Okay. So here's something. Open that again. Uniforms. I mean, you can't go to school without uniforms. And this is a drawing done by Eileen. What were your thoughts on this?
Well, I searched a lot of uniforms, and for this one, since this is the one for Signal, right?
Yeah.
I think.
No,
Beacon. Sorry. I was looking for the most basic look, because this is the school that most of season 1 takes place in.
Yes.
And it has to be relatable, but at the same time, it has to have like a distinct look. And I thought, Red Tartan really gets that idea across. Very prestigious school. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got this kind of regal look to it. We talk about in that episode, the first episode, about how the world is at a time of peace and prosperity. Essentially, you're doing well enough. Where one of the designs of this show was reality with a sense of hope, which is one of the things what kind of helped dictate the artists that I wanted to contact. Like a lot of Christina's work is like a future you kind of dream of, and so it's always like, and again, Carrie and I talked about this a few times, right? We like, what kind of world is this? I mean, setting up a world is a big deal.
Yeah, I know for Miles and I initially we thought of it a little bit older, but you really wanted to do not older, not future, but kind of like a mixture of all of those and present. It was important to let's not tie ourselves to one thing.
Yeah, I like present. I like technology.
Yeah,
And
we don't want to lose that stuff just for aesthetic reasons. So why not take that stuff and then make it aesthetically fit into something that we like?
And I also wanted to make sure that it was a world that was that kind of stood on its own. So
exactly, yeah.
There was design that we would look at. I wish I had gathered more of this material because we have a giant folder that we reference too often of like architecture from around the world and such. Taylor's very good about gathering that stuff with Christina. But even it comes down to even the uniforms. It's got kind of a royal look to it. And the red is essentially pretty important for this season, which for reasons you will discover. Let's keep going. Oh, here's something. Blake's original design wasn't like this, right, Eileen? Just keep going. This is maybe the doodle I sent her, right? Go back. Like I would just doodle up something like this and try to make that my idea. And you tried to work on it. Go to the next one. Go back.
So,
Up.
We're gonna keep it. No, just keep going. Keep going. No, go back. Trust me. Just keep going.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
No, that one. Yeah.
Which one?
Okay.
Okay.
Listen. So this was like an original attempt, right?
Yeah, because I was just trying to incorporate elements that you already had in your original design. And I think you also sent me like a photo of that
Like-
shirt.
Yeah, I actually like had cosplay in mind while designing the character because I had a dress that I'd bought and I was like, let's design the costume around this. So anyone who wants to make the costume would just buy this dress.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes like those ideas, it's kind of hard to incorporate practically into 3D. So I just sometimes for Blake's, like this design right here, it was a completely new attempt. Like I just broke away from the old design because it wasn't working. It was too complicated.
So I was totally for that. You know, we have most of our conversations were through Skype, and she would be like, I don't feel like this is working. Let me try something. And this is the flattest, you know, most basic pose, so that she could get the idea of what her outfit would be like. So out of all the girls, Eileen had the most control on this design. So keep going. So and then she made a more dynamic version, and this is the final artwork for Blake's poster, which we may or may not print someday. But yeah, and so this is how she ended up being, and it was mostly decided by Eileen on this point. Let's keep going. Oh, hey, look. That was fun. This was an early test I did just to make sure the rig for her face worked in a way that could, I mean, this is a pretty high-level challenge. It's like, can you emote Calvin and Hobbes with RWBY? And I kind of worked, so I thought that was pretty cool. Let's see. This is RWBY's pretty much final artwork. Aside from some minor changes, you notice that she doesn't have the cross anymore. At one point, knowing that I had an emblem to put on her, the only place that felt right was her belt, so I just replaced the cross. And Eileen, you wanted to. We had a lot of discussions about the cape, because capes are hard, especially in 3D, where the shoulder area is something that is very up to contention, where it's just like you build it at a right angle, but then they're almost always straight down. So like, we went back and forth on this a lot. If you look at the first trailer, it was actually different.
Mm-hmm.
And you made some attempts at design, like you put the crosses as pins on the shoulder, right? Eventually, you also made
change the blouse color, but
yeah.
down.
It's where is it? I think it's actually right here. RWBY. There we go. This. RWBY, out of all the characters I made first, probably before I even contacted Eileen, and I said, you know, given the time, we could probably do a redesign entirely because she would have gotten updated anyway, so you wanted to change the blouse color. But as production moved forward, we were just like, let's just go with what's already there, and we want this. But this could have been RWBY in this design, which is probably more classic, right? Closer to what people would picture like a Red Riding Hood-esque character to be. Okay, anyways. Okay. So this is Glinda, you saw, right? Same issue with the shoulders. Like, it'd be ideal if they could drape like this, but with the limitations of rigging in the program I use, they ended up behind her. But we went through a few iterations on her. Can we zoom in on this one, Carrie? Where we had discussions on cape, discussions on skirt length.
This is one of the final ones, though, right?
Yeah, there's actually some
more
early
before.
ones. Close back. Okay, keep going. Hey, there we go. Open that one. This is a really early Glinda. What were you thinking with this?
Sexy teacher.
I told her to say that. And yeah, keep going. Some side. Again, this is kind of ill-organized, so there might be just things in here that are just kind of ancillary. But this is me just breaking down like how shots work and like how this weapon works. So like, here's kind of a description on Blake's weapon. It's a giant cleaver where the sheath is a blade, and you can separate the two. And there's a katana inside, and also there's a gap where you can hold it. And then on top of that, the katana folds into a kusarigama where the propulsion of the pistol will send it flying. This is Yang's motorcycle. I always wanted her to have a motorcycle, just because. Cool. She's cool. Early Weiss. Oh, here's a. I remember there was an early design on this. Open that. It didn't have all the cool ornate stuff, right? And I came to you and I just needed help with this.
Yeah, I think you sent me a model, and
It was
like,
very
in
boring.
in the end, we decided that it looked like a fishing rod or something.
Yeah, that's right. Because imagine this without the
pointy.
blades on the side.
Right.
Just keep going. No. Again, it's out of order. You'll probably see it again. There we go. Keep going. Nope. Anyways. We'll get back to it when we get back to it. Early iterations of... Jesus.
What's that?
Sorry.
There's a bomb.
Our professor character, Professor Ozpin.
One thing too, you're talking about too with the. This was one of the biggest things that we had to sacrifice with shoulders.
Yeah.
Was he was gonna have this awesome like cope just like over him, and I was like, yeah, we can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times we had designed it. We design things very ambitiously. That's why we go to actual artists for this sort of thing. I mean, I'm very conservative when it comes to these designs, but if an artist wants to do something, it challenges me to try it. I tried it, and it didn't work, so I didn't do it.
And in case you can't tell, that character is based on Monty.
Oh, hey, I mean, fun little fact, I was supposed to originally play Ozpin, right? I would have been the original Ozpin because, much like Bernie is Church and he dictates the world and gives the most exposition, if anyone needed to answer questions about this world, I would have played him and been the voice. Except I suck. So we got a real actor, Mr. Shannon McCormick, who plays Wash. He lent us his voice, and it was so much better. So, yeah, we'll do better with him. Cool. Keep going. Hey, look, Ruby's original hair color. I designed her to be kind of wolfy. If you look at her, keep going. These are the girls. Keep going. Keep going. If you look, like her hair kind of like flips up in a way that's very wolf-like. This is her without her cape in her earliest form. The emblem is different now. And if you keep going, she's got kind of this kind of wild, like wolf-like hair, and the gray. But then I remembered, what was our original rule? Do you remember our rule that we tried to avoid? But like,
We were going to avoid doing the same hair as their name. Right. But then we realized that almost everybody on the first team had it anyways. We still want to make her hair red, so we thought we'll just make it like black with like red highlights.
I don't know. Is that a party? Is there a party going on?
Is there a party going on right now? Can we go? Oh, man.
Keep going, Carrie. Yeah, keep going. So yeah, we went through a few times of trying to get the Ruby White. And then, there was a random day where Eileen just wanted to make us a Christmas card. That's cool.
Merry Christmas.
Early version of Yang. I mean, missing some parts, but like there was something that was lacking about her character here, doing the Goldilocks character. And I mean, it just wasn't following the drawing, so keep going. And so I knew that a lot of it's like hair and stuff. Keep going. Just keep flipping through it. Oh, go back. This was cool. Like, I told Eileen to like literally draw me the texture that's on the Weiss's sleeve. So I literally just had her draw it flat and put it right onto the model. So sometimes that happens where I'll need something from her and we just put it right on the I mean, 3D is great like that, where if you take an image and put it on something, it'll still be that image.
And that happens with almost every artist on this panel. Like Patrick will need like, oh, we do need the chibi stuff for Ruby, so we'll just have him draw it. Or Christina is like, oh, we need this awesome matte painting in the background. Let's just have her draw it, and I'll just composite it in. There is some buzzing.
Stop it. Okay, keep going. So, I mean, the Yang you know now, that's the fishing rod. There we go. That's the Yang we go back up the Yang. The Yang we know now, like her character comes forward with the tendrils in her hair being very fiery, and this is closer to character. Oh, but that square in front of her boobs right there, it's a handle. So if we need to move her boobs, you pull that around. 3D is funny like that, where you just have controls for stuff. I mean, I don't use it that much, but I can't say the rest for our other animators. I mean, there's stuff for there. I'll go back to that one. Like, those squares are there for, like, making sure you can control her skirt. And a funny thing,
to keep it down.
She's wearing shorts. There's a funny thing about her, like in anime in general. It's like there's a lot of squash and stretch that comes from its animation. Those squares next to her fists are so that when I need to enlarge her fists, I just scale those up and they follow it so that her punches look bigger. You'll notice in her trailer, her fists get huge, like 200% size. But there's something that's counterintuitive in design for film that is to actual combat. Yang has those giant shoulder pads because in real fighting, you don't want to telegraph your punch, so you hide your shoulder movement and elbow movement as much as possible. But especially if you notice this on a lot of design for girls, and that's why she wears those giant gauntlets, when a girl needs to be very punchy, she's usually wearing gloves or something that pretty much strengthens the silhouette of her wrist so that it looks stronger. Not to say, like, honestly, a strong punch would be more, like, precise, but for film's sake, it's larger and, telegraphs more. So the same reason she has those giant puffy shoulders is that when she shifts her weight into throwing a punch, you can see it. It's there for the audience versus actual combat where it's almost imperceptible. So that influences a bit of her design. Keep going. So there's the gauntlets. Keep going. That's more of the screenshots again. Hey, they're bigger. Oh, hey, look at this. Go back. This is the original Team RWBY. Like, Weiss was not trying to avoid that rule, right? We didn't want people to be dictated by their color in terms of what their name.
And then we went, oh crap, we've got 3 black-haired characters and 1 blonde-haired character. Let's change this.
And they all look just too similar as well. Original RWBY. And, that's her original cape, by the way. But via design, it actually was there were too many collisions. Her arm would go through it too often. It just didn't work. I like the muff look, but it just wasn't working. Keep going. Yeah, I mean, oh, here we go. Torchwick.
Early Torchwick.
You have anything to say about that? Why is it funny? He looks cool.
Well, he was. I based his hairstyle on Carrot Top because you told me that he was like, the biggest asshole you can imagine.
Oh, okay. No, Carrie and Miles said that.
Wow.
Right? Carrie and Miles came up with this character, by the way.
We were
I didn't come up with this character.
He's Carrot Top. That's
Oh,
what we told her.
oh, by the way, can we have Torchwick stand up right now? And
Could
wave
the
to
voice
the
of
audience?
Torchwick please stand up? Gray Haddock, who's been in animes since I was like 10 years old.
He's old.
Not saying that, but he's in cool stuff like Rurouni Kenshin, Tekken, Pumpkin Scissors, a lot of things. Guyver, you were in Guyver. That's cool. But yeah, Torchwick, he went through a few iterations, and we kind of like in between the few. Like this is closest to current Torchwick, but I like some of the older elements. Go back. Like I like the closed coat and the longer pants. And go back to the other one. But I like, he needed to be tougher and a little more manly.
I remember there was like the early concept where he looked like he was 12.
Yeah.
Because he was based on this Pinocchio character, so.
Yeah. At first it was like.
So I was thinking like, okay, Pinocchio.
Yeah, it was like you drew him really young, and we're like, no, make him older. And you drew him a little bit older.
Too old.
Which was that, and we're like, okay, nope, keep going older, keep going older.
But he looks younger now in the 3D model.
Yeah, so we go back a little. I mean, one of those things about anime too, it's people are either old or they're young. There's very little middle ground. So like, and sometimes it's a limitation, but and then while building his model, we're like, I was like, seeing where the parts were working, the parts that weren't working, and then I had the opportunity to I'm like, this looks very Clockwork Orange. Let me just put some eyelashes on him, and then, okay, cool. Let's keep going. Weiss, keep going. Let's see, we're in the Weiss area now. Weiss, I like Weiss's design a lot. Oh, look, we got some original colors too. This is probably the closest to final, right? Yeah. One of the things I will say about Weiss's design, and this also comes off of maybe just discussions with the actors as well. Weiss's design is the most symmetrical, except for her hair, and it's one of those things where she's like this perfect snowflake. But she's also kind of rebellious in that her clothes get bought for her. A lot of her things are decided. Many of what she is and does is decided for her, but she gets to decide where she puts her hair. So in a tiny sense of rebellion, she wears it to the side instead of the back. But if you look at some of these pictures, it was I think at some point just directly on the back, and like this one, and we just moved it to the side. People love this design, Eileen. They think it's really great. We have a Weiss anywhere? Weiss? Would you stand up? So even if you go to, like, keep going. This is my original drawing. It's very plain and simple, a girl in a dress, right? And even then, I was kind of going a little more geometric with like her shoes and stuff. Eileen made it much more romantic, which is what people really like about her. And I have to say, it gives it a lot more character. So let's keep going. Yeah, look, go back to that, the original. Yeah, this is, again, one of my doodles, and it's like, it's very flat and very boring, and she made it so much better. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, and here's the final Yang art. I mean, it's kind of like, she's got this kind of like steampunk / cowboy / damsel look going, which actually bases off of something from a long time ago. And it actually, the odd combination of things work together. Like, what is that thing on her ankle? I mean, on her knee. Like, who does that? I mean, did you think I was like a psycho for just putting that there? I mean, you.
No, I thought it was very interesting.
Okay.
It's very Monty, so.
Okay, I should do that. Keep going. But yeah, this is the original drawing, and there was originally, and this is one of the things I said to Eileen, please, dear God, keep me away from the color black, because if I had my way, I'd make everything black. And so originally, Yang was intended to have a lot more black and yellow. This is my original the doodle.
Good job.
Anyways. But, and then she came back with 2 color schemes, and I was like, the right one. And we're like, okay, let's do it. And she made it very good, but I guess my original design wasn't too far off, because we landed pretty close, so I don't do too bad. But yeah, she's a lot of fun. And this is the original, if you open this, if some of you follow me, this is a cosplay I made like in 2008, and if you look at, there's actual similarities here. So inspired, I took this into work and put it on my mannequin at work, and I said, let me design something similar to this, because I like this design I made like 5 years ago, and let me do a version of this that's more anime appropriate. I mean, this I didn't like impromptu cosplay of a female version of Squall, but I like the placement of like booby emblems and and just like, you know, just the crazy amount of detail that's on her. The fur didn't fit for Yang, so I went with the muff, and then it kind of came from there. Is that all of that's in that folder? Okay. Do you guys want to start lining up for questions?
That guy does.
Apparently. I wish we had some of Christina's stuff, because her concepts for RWBY are really great, but I forgot to grab it from the office.
We definitely have them up at the, there's a RWBY art booth where those guys are all sitting and drawing. So if you want to go check those out there, we've got a...
We're not drawing anymore today.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Well, the thing's there.
The thing's
so.
there. The thing's still there.
Fine.
I'm just saying, Carrie, don't yell at me.
Go ahead.
All right. If you were to say, like, to an aspiring like artist and animator, like in manga and anime style, what would you say would be one of the better ways to, like, you know, if we wanted to work on this, since it's clearly from its overwhelming, quick popularity that RWBY isn't going away anytime soon. Like, what if we wanted to work on it in the future, like with Team RWBY?
Well, I mean, if you notice, these are all people who just kept doing what they're doing, and I would watch them, and eventually we would hit a coincidental enough point where it's like, I need you, and you've obviously proved that you can do it. You could do it at a level that's that's well more than good enough for us. Like, I went over how I approached each of them, so it's like, just keep doing your thing, and someone will find you, because talent is talent is a new form of economy, by the way. As our economy fluctuates, something that's never changing is talent, and talent is something we treasure, and these days it actually leads to actual success. So I mean, that's something you can't replace, and it's something that's just always unique.
All right, thank you. Congratulations again on the success of RWBY so far.
Thank you.
Hi, I meant to post this yesterday, but I approached you about it today, Monty, about how the line work is done in a 3D model.
Oh,
I
yes.
haven't seen that before.
It's a bit on the technical side, but if those of you who are familiar with 3D, there's a thing that happens where you can only see one side of a polygon. So if you imagine this, and I wish I had a diagram for it, there's two versions of her face, and one of them is inside out, and you don't see it unless you see it from the backside, and the actual version of her face is occluding it until you see the edge. So essentially, it's using the error called backface culling. There's a sandwich layer. There's two layers of skin. That one is black, one is skin toned, and you only see it from the side. So it occludes itself.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey there, I was just wondering how long it takes you to turn a piece of concept art, like a ship or a character, into something you can actually animate with.
Hey, Brett Taylor, come up here. Go jump on that mic over there. What do you guys have to say about that?
It really depends on the complexity of what's being drawn. Like, for example, Pat has made some really awesome airships that are really huge and complicated, and it can take like weeks to get that.
I hate modelers,
but
and
it's
I make
really
it as
cool.
hard
It
as
can take
possible.
weeks to get that.
Do we have the concepts for those at the booth as well?
The ships? Yeah, the ships are up at the booth.
Cool.
The booth.
Something I've learned about RWBY is, Rooster Teeth in general, we got to crank stuff out pretty fast. So, like, I've been on other projects where I've had months to work on something, but, see, I modeled John and Torchwick from the first episode, and I think each one of those I maybe did a week on each character, so maybe a week and a half. And then there's a lot of revisions and stuff, and you go back and you get to do a lot of other things, but yeah, it just really depends kind of on where we are in the production cycle, because sometimes we got to just go speedy.
Cool, thanks.
Cool.
I have two things actually. Like, one, with the art, like, you showed us you went through different designs for different characters. You think the old designs, you'd be putting that up somewhere or like on an art book?
Perhaps. That's one of the things we definitely love is the idea of an art book. Once we have enough under our belt, we'll definitely have art from all of our artists in some sort of compilation. It's in shambles right now. We have so many things in so many places. But yeah, that would be really cool.
Okay. And the second thing I asked you at the autograph table was something I can do or show you to get copy of Poser. So at Pat's booth the other day,
oh yeah,
I got a petition kind of.
Okay.
And then so Austin was the only one that didn't approve.
Well, I don't see Steve Cooper here who had those copies for us. I don't have any copies here to give away, unfortunately. I wish I did because he promised a bunch more, so not my fault. But no, I'd like to give you a copy. It's too bad. We'll try and figure something out.
Okay.
I guess if you not hang tight, but
Send me a message on the website.
Okay.
yeah, that's probably the best route to take.
Something, can you sign this too?
What? Can I
Or
sign?
like,
Oh yeah, sure. Bring it up. Do you have a pen? Next question.
When you were starting to design the various weapons for the characters, what influenced your choice to go with effectively combinations of firearms and medieval weaponry that weren't actually historical examples, like the flintlock guitar or a matchlock pike?
What are those?
Actual examples of firearms melted with medieval weaponry.
Oh, I don't know. No, I just go with what's cool, man. Patrick's in the middle of designing one, right? We got some ideas, and we got sniper sights and guns, and gun fists and stuff. It's like
Gun.
Gun.
I so badly want to do the gun.
Have you started doing gun?
Please let me do the gun.
Okay.
Thank you.
Fine. Yeah. Where's my gun?
I will make that.
It really is just for cool, I mean, and then you start with something cool, and then you find a really cool way to justify it, and we hopefully have. So, yeah.
It's a gun that
I keep
fires
shaking
a
my
gun.
leg. I'm driving Monty crazy.
That fires another gun.
Carrie's very twitchy. But yeah, I mean, aesthetics are a big deal. I mean, that's what art is, aesthetic, right? So to say it's you do it for cool is not to say that you're doing it for superficial reasons. You start with an aesthetic and then at times justify it, and it becomes its own thing. A lot of this design happens in this show where we do the image first. Eileen may have drawn something that I like that, but how do I use that? And then I actually have a story point for like much further down the line, and it just becomes part of the project. You don't draw, you don't overwrite, you don't over control things. You let it happen on its own. So I may come up with a ridiculous weapon, and then we'll find a reason why it's actually character motivated. So it keeps happening, and you just let it happen.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mics don't. The mics never liked me. I'm a musician, so humor me. Music has always been something that you appear to work with well, at least in RVB. Is RWBY going to have that same influence with music?
I mean, it kind of already does. If you look at the trailers, especially Jeff Williams doing the scoring for it, much like he did the seasons that had action in them for RVB, where we work very closely with him. He did all of the scoring for that current episode. I mean, since we're talking about music, do you want to show the intro? I mean, it's not an anime without its own anime intro, so we can prompt this. So that would be an instance where maybe about a week and a half ago. About a week and a half ago, Jeff had come up with a song that we weren't. I mean, we're just like, it was cool to make it, and just cool to have. I was like, that's our intro song. And then 4 days later, that's our intro, and I just made it. But you also see some things in there. It turns out a lot of my favorite designs are the ones I didn't come up with at all. So like you might have seen like some sort of fiery girl, or a very anxious-looking night boy. That I mean, I like everything that everyone else makes more than my stuff a million times. So like I have to thank Eileen for that, Christina for that, Patrick for that, where they just do what they're good at. So that's what that's what it means to be a director. You just let people who are better than you do what they do naturally. And back to the music. I mean, music just happens, and music again was one of those things that inspire you as well.
And that intro reminds me of another thing. When are we going to see that song on iTunes?
We're hopefully when the episode ships. Hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, we're at a con, so we're kind of busy.
Obviously. I let you people do your work.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you, man.
So for Ozpin and Glenda, did you recently watch The Wizard of Oz and just got...
Nope. A movie gets released in February. I have an idea for a character in August. I only hear about that or see the trailer. It doesn't mean I've been copying them because you saw one over the other. I plans for these things like years, months ahead of like for example, Adam in the Blake trailer. Oh, he's Jetstream Sam because Metal Gear Rising comes out the day before the Blake trailer comes out. No, I like Iato sword fighting style, and I had that idea. And guess what? Gare Zero did that sword first. So, thank. No, you're cool. Where you going? Oh, I love you. But the internet, man, those guys.
Hi. I also had a musically based question. That being, did you have a vision for the soundtrack when you first talked to Jeff Williams? Like, did you want to go in a specific direction with it? Like, 'cause like I hear the sort of female choir / rock beats sort of thing going on. And I was wondering if that was what your original intention.
Formless like water. One of my things big on is just wanting but not wanting, essentially, and just being who I am. I just like I know everyone's better than I am, and you let an artist unleash an artist that will do everything they can, that they should and will knowingly do naturally. I have an idea for something, they're gonna do it 100 times better. So like again with the concepts and stuff. I mean, my nature is control. I'm a manipulative son of a bitch, but every time someone does it, they do it much better than I thought. So like Jeff Williams, and it's been a relationship we've had for like 4 years. He still outdoes me every time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Like the earlier guy who said he asked people at the RWBY art booth about getting a or asking about what questions to ask. I also asked the same thing, and they just told me to think about a question that said why. And like most college students, I waited until the last possible second to come up with a question.
Okay.
I noticed something in the trailer, or not in the trailer, in the episode, and it was where clothing would phase kind of through the weapons or something, like Weiss, like her.
I make no
sleeve.
mistakes. You saw nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
I was just wondering why that happens and what you can do to fix it.
Oh, you want me to fix it now?
No,
it's already rendered, dude.
No,
Come on,
like-
we got to air in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, like.
Ah, Jesus. Carrie, we got to start over. We're done.
I'm an animator too, and I would feel like I haven't gotten a chance. to
Okay,
work
if you're
with-
an animator, then you understand.
Yeah.
So you're just calling us out.
Yeah. No, it's like, as big as this production seems, as many people we have on it, there's only so much we can do. And if you're hoping to find any success, you have to be able to live with your flaws. And you can see it. I don't think, I hope not as many people saw it, but there's scenes in much of my older work where, like, there's a scene I know very specifically in Dead Fantasy that the feet are backwards or the shadows are white, and it's just like, if your story's good enough, you don't get caught up in that stuff. There's an episode of RWBY, RWBY season 8, where the Meta jumps and smashes the warthog. If you look at the corner of the screen, Griff's hands are like backwards and upside down. And when he's getting up, it's just things that, we caught it after it's done and rendered. And it's like, well, we could go back on this, or we could keep making more stuff, and only a few people will catch that sort of thing. We do have that advantage, unlike real movies where one person catches it and suddenly everyone sees it, and then it's just blaring at you. But we live in a kind of a realm of internet acceptability, which is a bad excuse, but it's still our excuse.
Well, I didn't mean to call it out or anything. I was just.
I mean, where's your stuff? I want to take a look at it. Is it done? Here's my rule. Bad animation is better than no animation.
Right.
So if you're getting it done, at least you're getting something done versus constantly polishing and perfecting it and just never releasing anything.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Get it done. Okay.
My question was, I won't mention Glinda and the Great and Powerful Oz, but Ozpin, I mean. But Ayn Lee, you were saying that Torchwick was like the Pinocchio character, and then Ruby is kind of like the trusting and innocent Red Riding Hood character, and Yang is like Yang is like the Goldilocks character, and I was just wondering, and White Fang seems to be like kind of forgotten the word, big bad wolf thing. I was wondering what other like fairy tale elements kind of.
Well, I mean, do you want to know or do you want to see it? Also, none of that, all of that is both true and untrue in that we want the association, but we don't want to tell the story. So we've coyly been like, yeah, she's not. We don't say who they are, but at the same time, it's pretty damn obvious. Glinda Goodwitch, it's like she's the Good Witch, right? Glinda is her name. We have this rule in RWBY, which we stated before, and that's why the names are what they are more than the character name for that fairy tale. Everyone in this world, or most everyone, there's a history thing there, has to be named after something that is a color, is something that makes you think of a color, or is something that is that color. So Glinda, it means fair, rubies are red, Weiss is German for white, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it goes on. And so those rules for coming up with that character comes into play when coming up with their inspired character, and we spent a lot of time on that, Carrie.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, there's definitely you're gonna see some similarities, and you're gonna like pick out that stuff. Like Monty was saying, like we don't want to get tied to that stuff. We just want to let it inspire us and then do what we want. So there's definitely going to be more of that stuff, but it's not going to be the be all tell all of that character.
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
This is really close. Okay, I've just got a couple of questions. I don't want to take up too much time, but my first question is, have you seen any fan-made characters yet for RWBY?
Fan-made characters.
Because I've seen like a bunch.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I've made my own.
Fan art is cool. I love all the fan response. It's something we all track whenever we can. Art is great, and I'm big on. I mean, that's one of the reasons I went to Eileen, is that she had her own characters, right? And it's something that's like, that's cool. Like, I like originality. I like fan art too, but I also really like originality. So I will say, and this isn't let's do this now, but I honestly think somewhere down the line we may hold like contests for fan designed characters, and that would be really cool. A recent game, Remember Me, just did a contest for Design 2088 France and come up with our advertisements and our billboards. I would take it because Rooster Teeth has such a great community. I would take it to the next level and say, hey, Rooster Teeth community members, design. I'll come up with parameters for under the color rule. I say I need a character that's green-esque, and come up with a character and such, and we may have contests for that. As long as they fit our mold and our aesthetic, that would be really cool to do. Much further down the line, obviously, we have a lot of ambition for this project, but we might even have a name and not a design, and we might even say, hey, that'd be cool to make.
Yeah.
As far as current fan art, I see it. It's pretty cool.
Okay. My second question was kind of about the moon, because like I'm
phases and
I'm
shit.
sorry. I'm sorry. It's just like I noticed through the trailers, and I've recently watched Origin. I mean, I'm not relating it.
Or a what?
Origin.
What's Origin?
Spirits of the Past.
What?
It's
I'm not being quiet. I
Anime.
seriously have never heard of this. Is it an anime?
It's
Did
a really.
they have a broken moon?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Oh my God.
Hey, keep going.
I just kind of wondered if you're gonna dive deeper into like why the moon is like looks like it's broken.
You know, I've been figuring that out. Maybe. Shut up, Austin. Oh, Austin, animator. Where were you yesterday? We had a tech panel. I said, animators, please stand up. We had 2 animators here. Thank you. Anyways, no. You don't get to talk now. Say hi to Austin, everybody. Pink-haired guy.
Austin.
He's funny looking. Anyways. I've got stuff going on up here that maybe I don't even tell Miles and Carrie about what's going on with the moon. So I'm not going to tell you. And they're my writers.
I'll wait for it.
I'll figure it out. I mean, I know it. Yeah.
Plus, did you go anywhere for your? Well, did any of you go anywhere to study more about art?
Me, no, which is why I'm not that great. But these guys, where'd you guys go?
You're great, Monty.
Everything you need is at home. Well, if you have the internet.
But
that is.
Did you go to college for art? You're not in college for art, right?
No.
See, that's cool. But go to school, kids.
Don't go to school.
No, Patrick.
No, fuck you.
Okay.
Okay, look, I went to school for graphic design. Graphic design did absolutely nothing for my career now. The reason I get to do what I do now is because I practiced on my own time, and I put all of my time and my life into that. If you want to do this, then that's all you're going to do. You're going to keep drawing, keep practicing in whatever you do until your hands bleed, and then use the blood to draw the rest of it.
Or
just keep going.
Or Christina, where did you go to school? Just pat just shit all over your education.
Not as cool.
I had graphic design. Graphic design doesn't do shit for
Then
illustration.
don't take graphic design.
I'm just saying.
Anyways,
Christina?
I know it's a hard question to answer. Honestly, we don't want to say don't go to school. We don't want to say waste your money at the same time. But what Pat is really saying is, you can go to school to get the paper that says you love it, or you could just love it, or you could have both. And school isn't going to make you love it, but you still have to love it to do it. Right, Christina?
Yeah. For all these pieces, it's actually part of my portfolio from the school I graduated from. So that did kind of help me land the job I'm doing now.
Christina is also a relentless artist in that I follow her on Twitter as well, and or on Facebook, and it's like, oh, I'm sitting in a cafe and here's a doodle of the family in front of me trying to teach their kid how to do math. And it's like, if you're that passionate about something, that means something, and that's why I contacted her. It's just I would follow her and see that she was just constantly doing it. Gotta wrap up. Okay, let's keep going.
Thank you.
Thank you. One more question. Sorry, guys.
Okay, yesterday you touched on Poser. You said you liked it because it helped your creation process. It helped speed it up. And you kind of said that you have a start and a finish point in mind, but that in between you just kind of, go with the flow. When do you decide on an idea? Like, obviously ideas are always coming in, so when do you decide to just run with one?
Ideas are like an avalanche. You just need the first step, essentially. So, like, you start with the little riddles of pebbles that, eventually become a flood. And it just needs to happen, though. There'll be weeks I sit and be thinking about how can I make this cool, and then it'll just happen. and I'll just make a giant sequence that lasts for like 10 minutes. For example, like Dead Fantasy 2, I just heard the music. Red versus Blue Season 10 episode was in 19 Spike Fest. I was like, I haven't used spike grenades yet. It varies. It's like saying, how do I be inspired? You just be inspired, and it just happens. That's what it means to be an artist. So, I mean, my advice to get inspired. If some of you have seen my desk, I have 6 monitors in front of me. Watch a lot of different stuff, and also get out into the world. If maybe my genre of work is a lot of footage, so I just keep a lot of footage running. Or you could travel a lot, or you could watch people, or listen to music. It varies. So I mean, just the key is to live in the world. Awesome. Okay, guys, thanks for coming. Wish we had more to show you, but at least we showed you some stuff. But that was awesome having you guys here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It seems like one could simply walk to Mordor, right?
So after realizing this, we naturally hopped on a plane and flew